Carlos Nelson with Cascade Media Group, and today on Urban Professional tab, we have Mr. John Houston. He's been on the show when I think it was about 5 or 6 years ago. He's going to tell a little bit about himself, but when he came on years back, he had a new children's book that he had out, and we were highlighting it. But without further ado, Mr. Houston, introduce yourself and tell our audience a little bit about yourself. My famous lines on all my shows: go back to kindergarten, and then tell our audience a little bit about some of the mentors that help you gain the skill set you have and help you grow into the person that you are.
Gotcha. Well, first of all, Mr. Nelson, thank you again for letting me be on What's Up Kansas City and Worldwide with Cascade Media. Really appreciate you allowing me to come on in again and just sharing some of the gifts and things that God has given me. But I got to correct you there. My name is John Hudson,
right,
with the D, and not John Houston. So it's all good. It is all good.
Well, hey, excuse me. Mr. Nelson's faculty sometimes be straying. And I don't deny it.
Right. No, it's all good, man. People get me in that way all the time, so it's all good. But you said, going back to the beginning, who I am and what I do. I do a plethora of things. For one, first and foremost, I'm a father of two great boys who I've grown to love with all my heart. And I take that in very serious county, considering that education for most Black men is not reciprocated as it should be. So with that being said, I'm a father first, and from there, man, I do a lot of things. I'm a mental health advocate. I have a non-for-profit called Reasons to Believe, where I specifically go in middle schools and high schools, and I give information about the importance of mental health development and suicide prevention.
But that's what you're doing right now. But my audience want to know where the hell you come from.
Man.
But hold it. When I say kindergarten, I'm for real. Go back to where you went to school. Who some of your teachers were. I know in my life, my basketball coach had a big influence on me when I was in high school. I meant to say my track coach, because I ran track. And different men in my life helped me become who I am. And then I tell my story about my business prowess or what have you. Let my people know who you are. They know.
All right. Well, if you want to go way back in the 70s.
Way back.
I'm from Kansas City, Kansas, Wyandotte County, man. Born and raised on the playground is where I spent most of my days. You know what I mean? Basketball really was my first love, since you want to go all the way back there. Had some great mentors and people who poured into me as a kid from the sport aspect alone, which helped me connect myself to other things related to what I'm doing right now. So if I had to point out a person who was just influential to me as a boy leading up from my teenage, preteen, teenage, and even to my adult life, I would say one of the main people by the name of Al Collins, who was my basketball coach in Kansas City, Kansas. So do you know him? I don't know if you know him.
Yes, I do.
But he played a big part in my life, just helping me develop as a young man, including my father. I always give love to my dad. My dad did not hold back no bars for nobody. He's a man's man. It's going to tell me in a minute, hey, if you can't cut it, you can't stay. So I had to do whatever I had to do. I had to do whatever I had to do to make sure that I could cut it so I can stay. So big shout out to Richard Dennis Hudson Sr., and also my brother, Richard Dennis Hudson Jr., who was 3 years older than me, who pounded me every single day for playing basketball in the front yard, 85-20 in Kansas City, Kansas in the 80s and So that led me, the reason why I'm telling you this with sports is a lot of people don't know I played semi-professional basketball for a year and a half in New Zealand and in Fiji back in 2000, 2001. And one of my high school teammates is Earl Watson, who played in the NBA for a good 16 to 17 years. And my basketball team, my senior year, I just bragged about this a few days ago. I had two Grammy nominated high school players. I had one smooth jazz artist in my as a college teammate, and I had an NBA veteran as a teammate as well when I was a senior in high school. Who knew that that was that much talent on one 1996 high school basketball team or 98 college team that would flourish me into kind of the person who I am today. So in that regard, education has always been a great thing. My mother, Dr. Evelyn Hill, who is now the commissioner of the 3rd District in the Kansas City, Kansas area for the UG, love my mom, and I thank her for instilling in me the importance of education and higher learning. So when people look at me, they see basketball, but when other people look at me, they say, oh, that's Evelyn's boy. That's Dr. Hill's son. That boy got it all from her, from that part as far as education and books. So
Hey,
book
Hudson,
writing is, yeah.
if you notice that Cascade Sports, our sports network, is home of the student athlete, and we have a segment on there bridging the gap between sports and education. And I'm going to have you on that sports channel because what we talk about, how athletics help a lot of us people of color get a scholarship that took us to college, that put us in industries and positions that are paying the bills right now. All right,
Yeah.
so let's go on to what's paying the bills now.
Cool. Well, what's paying the bills now is pretty much everything that I still said. I'm just added a little seasoning and spice to it. I'm still doing education. I still go in schools and talk about mental health and suicide prevention with my non-for-profit that I started back in 2018. And I also am a smooth jazz artist. So I highlight my music, and playing my bass is not only an avenue to get into the doors to help people with therapy, but it's also an avenue to help musically inclined people to understand that it's okay to just chill out every once in a while and relax with some music for your own personal enjoyment from time to time. So I've taken that on, and along with being a father, so I travel here and there doing different things with that, and promoting my books as well. So
Let's talk about your books.
yeah,
You just skimped over that.
I did.
Yeah, let's run it down. How many books you've written, what they're about. Give our audience a little taste of that.
Yeah, so with you, Mr. Nelson, you caught me in a stage of my life back in 2013 where I probably had written about 10 books at that time. I was highlighting Fred Dexter and Friends. That's my children's book series that I had started in 13.
I'm gonna interrupt you. I have to say, I was like, man, who's this guy? But I like that book. I want to reading that sucker.
Yeah,
Man.
man. Yeah, man. From that one book, I've written 4 new books from that franchise, the Fred Dexter and Friends children's book series. So now I went from one book of that series to now 5, and I've won many awards. I've traveled across the city and abroad because of that. Those times when I spent with you from that era to 2013. And it's been really a fun ride. I am starting to understand the value in giving back to kids and helping them find ways that they can be better leaders and develop good traits for them to lead others and themselves to make good decisions in their educational journey. So that's where I'm at with that.
All right, I want to switch gears because we talked off camera a couple of times before this interview, and This will be airing on the Kansas City Business Association show also.
Okay.
I'm switching gears to business and
Okay.
Black business in general. And I want to talk to you about what has been some of your challenges in trying to have your own company, trying to be uh, able to express yourself,
Mm.
uh, whether it's musical or what have you, in a business type manner, and the access to capital and the other things that it takes for one to run a business. Can you talk about that a little bit?
Yeah, I think one of the main struggles right now for me personally is just getting through the gatekeepers of who are the people who have access to doing what you want to do or trying to create what you trying to create. And one thing about me, Mr. Nelson, is I'm a very eccentric kind of a person. I don't let one door or one person tell me no that I can't do it and then just walk away and quit. That's just not me. I've never been that way. So what I do is I create a format or a platform for myself and I try to get whatever I need to get done through that. But the main thing that I've struggled with is just there is a lot of clicks. There are a lot of people who um, have their own hidden agendas about who you are and what they think they want you to do. And that could be a challenge sometimes when you're trying to just say, hey, just let me come in and do this. This is my purpose. This is my mission. And this is how much I charge and keep it moving. But everybody seemed to be busy, and sometimes that could be tough. And then another thing that kind of hindered me was COVID. COVID really messed me up because I just started my company in 2019, and then right as I was flourishing in 2020, of course, the pandemic happened. So now that that is over, a lot of things are starting to shift for me. I got I got gigs coming up. I got speaking arrangements coming up now, and things are starting to turn. A lot more people are starting to hear about John W. Hudson and what he does. And I'm telling you this because if somebody has one gift or one thing that they want to publicize, do it, but expand it to where it just doesn't limit you to one person or one thing. Because these days you're going to kind of have to be multitasking in your business savviness to get other opportunities for people to see you, to buy your product, and for you to hopefully flourish and do other bigger, better things with your company or your business.
That's what Cascade Media has been about with all its companies, the Kansas City Business Association, Cascade Sports, What's Up Worldwide, What's Up Kansas City, where we produce 35 different shows on all different levels, is to give our community an opportunity to speak in their own voice without any edits and what have you. But I think that some of the things that you have described uh, uh, are systemic in nature as it
Mm,
relates to how the system has got us locked out. But
right.
I just was looking at a interview with Malcolm X the other day. I put it on it was 1963, and I say nothing has really changed in 50 to 60 years uh,
Mm,
as it relates to how we're treated in the business world. But the only solution from his perspective, and I knew my perspective, he basically said that people of color, Black people, basically, you're never going to escape uh, the clutches in which you're locked into unless you come together,
right.
unless we have to do it and we have to come together. And that has been very hard since desegregation, I should say,
Mm,
uh, where when we had segregation, the garbage man in our community was just as important as the teacher or the doctor. And
yeah.
we shared resources. And uh, back in the day, I'm 72, a young man like you coming up with multi talent, there were people in the community say, hey, John is making moves. He needs some cake. And everybody in the community would back you. And when you look at the white business community and how they start and how their families chip in and what have you, we have to find a way to bring that back together in our community. That is what Cascade Media is trying to do in the long run, but it cannot take place without conversation.
Yeah, you hit it on the money. I mean, for me, I'm looking at you. I've been knowing you now for a few years, Mr. Nelson, and people don't even know or realize what you are doing. It's to the point to where you're on another level of thinking, and they're trying to catch up with you. But if they're trying to catch up with you, good luck, because you're already up there. And people need to start, like you said, understanding the value of what they are worth, so that they can get whatever they need to get out and put it on a platform to where it can be publicized and somewhat level the platform. I appreciate Cascade Media for having their own platform, and I want more and more people to come to Cascade Media to understand who you are and what you're doing. But then also too, it encourages me to know that if you can do it, I can do it too, or at least have some motivation to get some of the things that I've been wanting to do to get my dreams out as well. So I'm just excited about that. I'm very inspired by what you're doing, and again, it's giving me the platform that I didn't know existed for me to tell my story or to share my dream as well.
Well, how if nobody knows, how many times I reached out to you.
Yeah.
About having your own platform on our platform. That's what we do. But if one really doesn't understand that, they think that I'm trying to take their program or their talent. No, I'm trying to give you more exposure on a much larger stage. Keep doing what you're doing with your website and with your Facebook page. But you can never be as large as Cascade when we got 10,000 interviews and more people are coming to the network, people of color. Who are you marketing to, really? You're marketing to people of color for the most part. And so when you're not using the tools that are right in front of you, to me, you're making a serious mistake. But as you've said, and I just had a brilliant young lady on Stephanie Smith, and as she was saying that when we talk about this business, everyone is having the same problem. But what we have to do, we have to decide to work with people that we might not want to or like personally, but they can get the job done. And the mission is the most important issue for your son and his son at this point.
Right. Yeah, generational wealth is the key. If it ain't the key for most people, they need to start understanding that you should be generating not only for yourself but for your future kids or your kids' kids. Because look at the other superstars. That's what they're doing for their kids. But I wanted to go back and just let you know I've considered Cascade Media, and nothing is off the table. You never know. We may see each other again soon. I'm still working on a few things from a business standpoint of what that would look like for me to maybe network or to connect with you and seeing on how I can not only benefit the media group, but to benefit myself on that end as well. Because I think it would be some great connections for a lot of things, for the devotion of the people, for the dedication of the work that's involved in what you're doing and I'm doing, and then the diversity factor that it combines with minority individuals. So don't put me in the trash can just yet.
No,
just bear with me.
Let me say this. This is from one of my partners that really helped me start the What's Up Kansas City brand, James Watts. He thinks he's a multi-level marketing genius, and he always has told me this for 20 years. The same ones tell you no today, they might tell you yes tomorrow.
Right.
And
Right.
I put no one in the trash. What I
Okay.
do,
Okay.
I take you off the 4 burners that I have on the stove and put you on the side in the warming tray, so that when time is right,
Right. Right.
you might call me and say, "Hey, Mr. Nelson, this is the
Right.
deal. Let's get it cracking."
Let's
And
get it
I'm like,
cracking.
that's what it's about.
It
And
is. It
there's no
is.
sense in trying to be ready before you ready.
Yeah. So I mean, I have so many things that I offer to people, and that's why people sometimes cannot hold me down because they know I know a little bit, and I'm not saying you
Right.
particularly, but I'm just saying people in general. I got my hands full. I love what I do in every aspect, and so when I do something, I just don't want to do it halfway or 50%. I like going all out, and I like doing it in such a capacity where everybody can be, have the opportunity to be blessed and to shine. So just know I got you. And I wanted to say that. Can I go back and talk about the student, and you were talking about student athletes.
Yeah,
Uh,
hold it. That
yeah,
is the beauty of owning your own show and your own network. You don't have
right.
to ask the producer or anybody.
Right.
Go over. Yeah, just do what you want
well,
to do.
well, I want to say this. I wrote a book called "The 25 Secrets Every Student Athlete Should Know." It is available. Every book is available on my website at johnwhudson.org. And that book was endorsed by Shaquille O'Neal. I met Shaq. And we had a very brief conversation, and he said, "Man, this book is going to be really cool." So he endorsed me, took a picture with the book, and just told people to get it. And I've gotten some really great feedback, but I have not been able to really pub that like I should because I need to be on shows like this to let other people know. That's one of many things or topics that I love to give to people. So Cascade Media will predominantly help me open up some doors to talk about topics like this and others to get people in a mode of what they can do to be successful and to succeed and have opportunities as they come. So the reason why I'm saying that is I can't wait when the decision is made to help or to come in with you because I know I got a lot to offer. And if I did it right expeditiously, I think it'd be a very good asset for myself and what you got going on. So we'll see.
All right. So in closing, is there
Yeah.
any last words you would like to have to our audience?
Man, if they haven't gotten the Beyond Expectations album by now, it's been out for a year, they are missing out. I am on the verge of becoming Kansas City best kept secret in regards to smooth jazz and R&B, and I'm getting booked almost every other week to do more shows. And I just want to let people know if you haven't got the album, get that. And if you haven't gotten any of my best selling books, you need to go to johnwhudson.org and get them today. They will bless you, they will bless your family, and they will bless your mind state. Anything could be going on else in the world, but when you get peace of mind, that is benefiting you as a person. So let me bring some peace to your mind by saying, read some books, listen to some music that's going to put you in the mood of relax and chill. And then also, too, start thinking about what you are thinking about, being conscious, being aware of who you are and what you are doing. These are the things that I want to express the most. So, Mr. Nelson, thank you. I appreciate you, man. And hopefully that will give a good preservation to what my mission and my purpose is.
Run that website back down.
Yeah, website is John W. Hudson, HUDSON.org. I also have my non-for-profit organization. It's called Reasons to Believe, and that is reasons, the number 2, believe.life. Reasons to believe.life. That is dealing with mental health awareness and exposing the new 988 number to help kids for the crisis hotline in regards to suicide prevention and mental health awareness. These kids need it. You'd be surprised. And I'm just a person that will help them out to keep them under control.
One last social media. Get them hooked up with Facebook page.
Facebook page is John_Hudson. Same thing with Instagram. You can go to Focus Driven ENT. That's the name of my business, Focus Driven Enterprises, and be on the lookout for some stuff on any social media platform. YouTube, I have a new music video out for the people who don't know or know my music, and then you can check out the album on YouTube as well as John W. Hudson. Hopefully, I can put my music video on Cascade Media so they can see it on there too, and see what me and Mr. Nelson could come up with.
For sure. As we always say in closing, when you invest in your community, you're really just investing in yourself. Good night.
This is brought to you by Kansas City Business Association, working to improve our community.